Most MSPs talk about marketing and having issues marketing and bringing people into the top of their sales funnel. Well, when I was in Atlanta for peer groups a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with Harrison Barron. And Harrison is one of those really smart thought leaders as relates to all things marketing and digital marketing in particular. So here is that conversation with Harrison now. All right, Harrison, thanks for being here. I really appreciate getting a chance to get to know you in person. I've watched a lot of your videos. I know you've watched a few of mine, and we've communicated over Discord a bit, but it's nice to have a face-to-face conversation these days with the digital stuff. So I want to ask you a few questions about marketing, which is obviously your specialty. So the first question I want to ask is what do you see, what's the biggest mistakes that you see MSPs make when it comes to their marketing efforts?
Yeah, so there's definitely a couple mistakes, and I might ramble on a little bit, but I guess it's fitting for the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a bunch of different things, and they kind of all shoot out in different directions. So one is like they immediately say, well, I need leads, right? I need potential leads, so I can call these leads, I can potentially bring on customers, which is great. However, if you don't know who your lead is, right? If you can't give, right? And we're in the hotel here, and I can use the hotel, not sponsored by them. We'll flip it around. But if you could say like, hey, this is my target customer, right? And then you take that and hand it to the your ICP, your ideal customer profile, or buyer persona, whatever you prefer, to the agency. That is what you need to do. If you don't know who that dream customer is, the agency is never going to be able to run ads, never going to be able to create content. They're never going to be able to really help you get through to the lead. That's part one. So if they don't know who it is, then they hire the marketing agency, or they hire the marketing agency too early before they actually have the system that works. Or three, they don't actually have proof that the marketing actually works. And I know it's a little bit of a catch-22 and a little bit harder, but if you don't have the marketing engine, right? So shameless plug to my own stuff, but in my videos, I talk about like, hey, this is Harrison from growth-generators.com. I do this, right? And then every single time in the videos, I say that, hey, go check out the links down below, right? As I'm sure you're probably going to do in this video. Check out the links down below. Those are helpful resources for MSPs specifically, right? I have that, so I know that statistically those things work, right? I know that there's a conversion rate. Those conversion rates, X amount of people land on the page, I get X amount of leads, right? If you don't have something that exists there, right? The agency can't run ads to your ideal customer profile if you don't actually have the rest of it built to get the lead, right? If it's just to get traffic to the website and your website doesn't convert, you're just throwing money at something that's never going to work. So it's a bit of a you can go wrong in any of those areas, and you kind of what I was talking about here at the PAX 8 is even sales and marketing, you have to work from the foundation up. And in many cases, a lot of this is we had the sales process and it was top down, which is fine. But if you want to fix the problem, you have to start with, okay, am I closing leads or am I closing deals? Yes or no. Am I building proposals well? Yes or no. Am I doing good discovery days? Yes or no. Am I booking calls? Yes or no. And then you work your way through that, and it's the exact same thing with marketing. Am I getting leads? No. Does my landing page stink? Yes. Or am I not? Is there not enough value there? And you build your way up, and you have to. This is a long story to a easy answer, but you have to go through those processes to truly succeed. Because if you don't go through that, you're never going to get an ROI out of your stuff.
Right.
Hopefully that answers the question.
It does. It's very obvious to me anyway, and I spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff. But it's you have to have the process, so that way you know where the process is breaking when you're having the thing.
100%.
It seems a lot of times the MSPs will do things like, I need to do marketing, so they just do like random acts of marketing, and they're just doing kind of whatever is the.
I have a whole video on this.
Yeah.
You're ramming all over the place because there's no. And like, you don't have to be an expert. Like, nobody needs to be an expert, right? And you don't have to build, like, don't go spend money with the agency until you have the machine, right? And then give the agency the thing. And if you don't want to use the agency for a long time, that's fine. Nothing against my friends that own agencies, because agencies do work. But if you can't say that this is my dream customer, they can't produce the ads, the material to get people into the engine that ultimately turns them into a hot lead.
So then if we think about digital marketing specifically, because there's a bunch of different types of marketing, where do you think the highest ROI is for our MSP friends?
Oof. Okay. I actually answered this today here, which is pretty cool. And maybe even potentially yesterday. So if you weren't in those groups, I apologize. So a lot of people run ads on Google, they run ads on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, which is great. They go out and they say, hey, Google, Facebook, this is who I want to target. This is the queries I want to target. But the best ROI that I cannot even begin to explain how good it actually is. And this is like the super secret sauce. So if you're an MSP paying attention, I hope you please subscribe to this, but also write this down. You have to create some kind of content. So SEO is the first best place that I tell everyone to start with. And you don't have to be an expert at it, but naturally your clients are going to ask questions to you, your MSP and all that. When they do, you want to take this little device, right? And you want to start writing those questions down as fast as you can. And that you're going to have a notepad or something that'll have all of the questions that they've asked. You then go back, you write blog posts about those questions. And over time, Google is going to start to find you and know you and understand that the problems that you solve, and then they will start to rank you higher in Google. Now, you said digital marketing and paid ads and that kind of thing. The best way to do it is once you're getting traffic on that, you then take that and run retargeting ads on Google and Facebook specifically. So for example, if you just run an ad to your agency, or to your MSP, you're spending about $50 per click, which was the common number here. But if you have them visit your website first because you did a little bit of SEO and then you remarket to them on Facebook, you're paying $50 to $1.50 for them to come back, which is 1/50th of what you would be potentially paying Google or something like that. So that is literally the secret sauce. And if you could build even a basic marketing, like investing the time into SEO or even potentially YouTube and creating content, and you can use that in a bunch of other areas of marketing, and then you remarket to those people after they've touched it, you use a Facebook pixel to do that, you'll have a tremendous ROI. And it's like, it's like you visit a website where it says like dog food, right? And then all of a sudden you're getting dog food, Chewies following you everywhere. It's the exact same principle.
Sure. Question that came up yesterday, the thing we were talking about yesterday too, is that when the client asks you the question, you type it in there, you make a blog post, and then you send your client to the blog post article too, right? That's
100%.
That way.
Oh yeah, it came up in this room.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was very much like the answer the questions, but then don't just answer it once. Answer for everybody, and to continue to.
There's tons of people on the internet looking for the answer, and yes, I'm sure somebody watching is going to say, "Well, that already exists." Of course, it already does. But there's other MSP channels out there, and that help MSP business owners. But people choose to watch your channel, right? And it's the same thing. It's just sometimes it has to be said in a certain way by a certain person for it to connect. And even, I'm guilty of it, right? I'm like, I was told niche for the longest time, and then I was like, oh, you know what? And then finally, I flipped the switch, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was a tremendous change. And even in MSPs, I see it's like, oh my goodness, I started to focus on this one niche, and I can actually change their business and all that. And all of a sudden, I can't handle the leads that I'm dealing with now.
Right. So one of the things that we talked about yesterday, I've heard over and over again, is that some of this stuff takes time, right? You develop a bunch of content, and you do little incremental things every day or every week, but that takes 3, 6, 9, 12 months to really realize on things. What can MSPs do to turn around a quicker ROI on things so that they have new leads coming in while this organic stuff, it will eventually take root?
Sure. So the fastest way to get attention is what we're doing right now, right? YouTube. Believe it or not, video is super fast. And it doesn't have to be just YouTube. It could be YouTube, social media, anything like that. But gone are the days of static social media posts, right? Unless you're going to have a whole bunch of content on there, social media is still a fantastic driver, but it has to be video. Like, people want to see video, they want to see the captions, and now I may have just made you do some extra work. But they want to see the caption, they want to be able to read, and not every time, right? Like, I was just sitting in the hall, I would have watched a YouTube video, but if I had to read all the things, I wouldn't have minded as I'm sitting in the hall waiting. So that's definitely number one. But short-term, easy impact is, believe it or not, I'm still a fan of blogging. But here's where the difference is. Create that blog. You have to create that content no matter what. Blogging takes that 3, 6, 9 months that I was mentioning, and it can take, sometimes even longer, although sometimes it'll be shorter. But the interesting thing is if you take that and now you say you find strategic partners, right? A digital marketing agency near you, right? A low voltage company near you, depending on what niche you're in, you can go find those companies and say, hey, by the way, maybe this is something that your audience might find interesting. And then you have a call to action, or you post on hey, if I need leads tomorrow, do something similar, write a little bit about that, and then invite those people to invite their audiences to a webinar of some sort. Like, hey, we're having a webinar, this is what we're doing, this is what we're talking about, cybersecurity. And then give the information, I hate when people are like, This is the strategy around it. Like, no, tell me exactly what I need to do, right? Spend 30 minutes writing a blog post every single day, and hopefully once a week you'll have a blog post at the end of it, and post that thing every single week. In 1 year, you'll have 52 blog posts, which is infinitely more than all of your competitors are doing. That's the secret, right? The strategy is how you go about that, but that is, you want leads immediately, webinar, create the blog post, send it out to your inner circle of people that could refer you business, and ask them, hey, if you know somebody that this could resonate with, as long as they're not in a competing industry, which they shouldn't be anyway, they will 100% send it out to who they think is, will find value in it.
Yep. All right. Awesome. So before we wrap up, the last question I want to ask you before I want you to plug your stuff is, what is one takeaway? What is like the one takeaway if an MSP is going to do one thing to move their business forward from a marketing perspective? What is that one thing?
One thing for the businesses to move forward. It depends. I hate when people say that too. I really do. I truly hate when people say it depends. So, and I say it depends because everybody has their own superpower, right? For me, I happen to just be good on video. For whatever reason, I don't know, at least the internet keeps telling me that, hey, you keep making videos, right? So I'm also a kid that failed English, and I wrote a bunch of blogs, and some of them do get traffic and some of them do get attention, and like people that have read them are like, yeah, they're like pretty decent blogs. But I've also read other people's blogs and I'm like, these are so wildly engaging and I'm glued to the edge of my seat reading it, right? I'm just not that much of a writer. So my secret sauce is do something, right? And instead of doing nothing. Doing nothing is probably what people are watching and haven't had much success with here. We need to do something, right? And what that activity is, whether that is creating a webinar that you can run, creating blog posts that you can write, creating videos that you can make, creating a podcast, going on other people's podcasts, right? Going and being a guest on other people's as a subject matter expert. Whatever it is, find that one thing, because there is no, hey, do this one thing, massive success, because everyone's going to be different. It took me years to learn that I was good at video, right? Or allegedly good at video. And I followed what everybody told me. They were like, make blog posts. And I did. And I saw some traffic and I saw some attention. And I saw some leads. But then I was like, okay. And then even still, I was making videos and doing that and doing that and doing that. And then all of a sudden it was like, I pivoted. I was like, oh, I'm never going back to the MSP world. I'll just give away all my secrets now because it's done. I'm never going to have to compete. I don't want to give away the secret sauce that made me super successful. So I was like, we're done. And then I made those videos, and then people were like, dude, we need more of that. And I was like, your videos are great. I love watching them. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess we're going to just make that content now. And it was just a shift in what I was doing.
Sure. Well, and with any of this stuff, right? Any of the content that we develop, whether it's video, whether it's writing, whether it's social media, whatever, people need to not worry about, someone's gonna laugh at me, because if you're delivering any kind of value to any one person,
sure,
people aren't gonna laugh at you. And really, people really want to see what you're doing and see who you are as a person, right?
100%. It's so funny because I left the MSP world, started a digital marketing company, and it's like I actually went and made a video of like reviewing, like I think it was MSP websites, and I reviewed my old website, my first website I ever made. And it's the funniest thing is it's the computer screen, right? But it's the computer screen with like the white on it where you like slap your like digital thing in there, and I just left it white, and I was like, oh my God. But I didn't know at the time, right? But it's like the consistent evolution of it going through. And like my first video, I was like, oh my God, I just released it.
Yeah.
It took a year and 4 months of making content almost every 5 days a week, right? I released 5 videos per week. And only earlier this year, one of my old coworkers found one of my videos and was like, hey, just want to let you know your video is super helpful. And I was like, it's somebody I know that saw my content, and I'm shaking. And I was like, you know what though? He's like, dude, you kill it. And I was like, that means so much to me. I have this fear, and I think a lot of MSPs have this fear of like, I'm going to do something, I'm going to be judged by my peers. You're always going to be judged by your peers. There's no doubt about it, right? And the ones that truly want the best for you are going to give you good constructive criticism, and the ones that want the best for the worst for you are going to just tell you that you're the worst thing. And to be fair, I've only gotten bad feedback on one video I made. And it wasn't even bad feedback. It was one person that watched the video, and everybody else, it's raving comments, and then one person who was like, I can't believe I wasted 13 minutes watching this video. And I was like, a couple hundred other people enjoyed watching it. They just had great things to say. So, okay.
Yep.
You're never going to make everybody happy. But if you truly want digital marketing to work, regardless of what avenue you pick, video, audio, text, whatever process it might be, no matter what, you're going to have to put yourself out there. And you would be so blown away by how much support you'll get, like from the videos. Like, even if they're not, look, nobody's Mr. Beast, right? It is what it is. We're techies. We didn't go to acting school. We don't live in LA. We didn't do these things, right? I didn't learn how to, even I make mistakes. I made a mistake today, right? It is what it is. But like, it's the process of learning. We didn't all start out plugged into the internet through a USB port on our finger and just configure our computers. Like, we learned, we got better, we iterated over time. We all started out on the help desk at some point or another and worked our way through the process. And some of us turn into YouTubers, and other people turn into, business owners and sys engineers and all that. So it's doing something. I say all that because find what your strong suit is, keep following it, give it, the college try, and really put your best foot forward in it. Do something, and slowly that needle will move. And at some point or another, you're going to say, this isn't working. That's okay. It just might not be working because that's not the avenue for you.
Right.
I've spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours of writing content to realize that I should have just done video on day one.
Right.
Like, that's part of the process, and enjoy. And I hated Gary Vee when he said this, and I still don't know how I feel about Gary Vee, but he was like, love the process. And the more I grow, the more I fall in love with the process every single time.
Yep, absolutely. We were saying in my peer group room today, or in yesterday in particular, was make today better than yesterday, make tomorrow better than today, right?
Sure.
Just can iteratively improve every single day,
Sure.
And you're going to get better at all the things.
100%.
And so much of all of what we do, but especially in marketing and sales, is you have to stay consistent with the effort. If you put a lot of effort in on one day, don't touch it for 2 or 3 weeks, and you put a lot of effort again, you're going to have these weird spikes. If you stay consistent and do the thing over
Sure.
and over and over again, you're just going to see better results.
Sure. Seth, you're going to get a crack out of this, and maybe you'll watch this, maybe you won't. We'll have to make sure he watches it. But it is like, I relate content marketing, marketing in general, it is like going to the gym, right? If you consistently do it every single day, and the results will last for a very long time, but if nobody gets fat on Thanksgiving, and I'm a heftier man myself, and I'm happy to admit that. But you have to put the work in every single day. There's a reason I wake up and make 5 videos per week. Do I like it? Of course I like what I do, and I'm loving the journey more and more. But like, there's definitely days where I'm like, I'd love to just take the day off. And I'm like, but I know I will let somebody down who looks forward to my videos at 7 a.m. in the morning, East Coast time, when I release them. And that one, even if it's one person, makes me get off the couch, stop playing the video games, stop doing something else to make sure that there's a video up for them.
Right. Awesome. So Harrison, thank you for your time today, and thank you for being here. Right.
Thanks for having me, man. This has been a lot of
really
fun.
good feedback from our peer group members, and I just appreciate you being here. Do me a favor, quick. Tell me where I can find you. How can we get in touch with you? Where can we find your YouTube videos?
Yeah. So easiest way to find me: growth-generators.com, YouTube Growth Generators. LinkedIn, if you want to hit me up on LinkedIn, Harrison Barron, bald guy, right? Smiling typically. And that is truly it. If you're a fan of the channel, I appreciate it. If you've been here this week, I appreciate you. I use your videos for inspiration too.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it's been amazing.
Very good. Well, thanks for coming on this ramble with me, and I'm sure we'll be on one in the future. So thanks for being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to next year.